Today we are visiting Badrinath Dham, but not in the usual way. In this video, we are not just going to see the temple and come back. We are going deeper into Puranas, into the ancient stories, into the mysteries, and into the living faith of the sacred Badrinath Dham. Why did Bhagawan Vishnu perform tapasya here in this exact place in the freezing Himalayas? How did the sacred Vigraha of Badrinath disappear into the icy waters of the Nara for centuries? And who brought it back, and how did he know where to find it? What is the mystery behind Taptakund, the boiling hot spring in the temple complex? And how does the sacred Akhanda Jyoti, the eternal ghee lamp, continue to burn for 6 months when the temple remains closed during the heavy winter snow? In this video, we'll uncover the deepest Puranic stories of Badrinath Dham. We'll also explore the most important places around this main temple, and then we'll travel to the nearby Mana village, known today as India's first village. At the end of this video, I'll give you a complete practical guide for planning your own Badrinath Yatra, including the best route, where to stay, and how to complete the official Char Yatra registration through the Uttarakhand website. So without any delay, let this divine journey begin. Jai Badri Vishal. Our journey to Badrinath begins from the holy city of Haridwar. But let me tell you friends, reaching Badrinath is not just a journey. It feels like a test of devotion. From Haridwar, Badrinath is around 320 kilometers away, and the road journey usually takes around 10 to 12 hours. And while we travel towards Badrinath, let me tell you the ancient story how this sacred place became Badrinath Dham. Long ago, even before the world looked the way it does today, there lived a great being named Dharma. He was the embodiment of the righteousness and everything that is good. His wife was the noble Murti, whose name simply means form. From this divine couple were born 2 sons, Nara and Narayana. But these were no ordinary children. They were Bhagawan Vishnu himself, appearing in 2 forms at the same time. Their purpose was very special. They had come to teach the world the true power of tapas, deep meditation, penance, and inner discipline. They wanted to show that the real strength does not come from wealth, power, or weapons. It comes from within. When the brothers grew older, they bowed before their parents and sought their blessings. Then they began a long journey towards the north. They left behind the fertile plants, crossed the forests and rivers, and continued climbing higher and higher into the Himalayas. At last, they reached a sacred mountain called Gandhamadana. The air was thin, the cold was severe, everywhere around them stood towering snow-covered peaks. There, on 2 mountain tops standing side by side, Nara and Narayana began their tapas. They stood like 2 living pillars of penance. They hardly ate, they barely bathed. Closing their eyes, they turned completely inward. And what was the purpose of their meditation? Not personal power, not fame, not glory. They were meditating for Loka Kalyana, the welfare of all living beings. Their tapas was an act of pure compassion of the entire world. But far above the clouds, in the celestial kingdom of Swarga, someone was watching. It was Indra, the king of Devas. And Indra began to worry. Now, Indra had a habit. Whenever a sage performed intense tapas, he became nervous. He feared that the sage might gain extraordinary powers and one day challenge his position as king of heaven. Looking at the growing power of Nara and Narayana, Indra became anxious once again. So he called Kamadeva, also known as Manmada, the deva of love and desire. Kamadeva was handsome, confident, and famous for his ability to disturb even the strongest minds. Indra gave him a simple command: go to Gandhamadana, take the most beautiful apsaras with you, sing, dance, charm them, do whatever it takes. Just break the meditation of those 2 brothers. Gathering the most beautiful apsaras of heaven, he descended towards the Himalayas. Soft spring breezes followed them. The fragrance of flowers filled in the air. Everything seemed perfect. But the moment they approached the place where Nara and Narayana were meditating, something unexpected happened. A tremendous spiritual force filled the entire region. The power of their tapas was overwhelming. Then, slowly Narayana opened his eyes. But there was no anger in them, only kindness. Looking at the visitors, he smiled gently and said, "Why are you come here? You are my guests. Please accept my hospitality." And then he performed a miracle that left everyone speechless. From his own thigh, he created a woman of extraordinary beauty. Her radiance surpassed every Apsara standing there. No one had ever seen such beauty before. He named her Urvashi. The name comes from the word Uru, meaning thigh, because she had emerged from his thigh. Kamadeva and the Apsara stood frozen in disbelief. They had come to distract the Tapasya with beauty. Instead, the Tapasya had effortlessly created a beauty greater than anything they could offer. Ashamed and humbled, they bowed before Narayana and hurried back to heaven to tell Indra everything. The place where Urvashi appeared later became a sacred spot known as Urvashi Kund. Even today, it is believed that bathing here helps cleanse one's sins. Now comes to the most beautiful part of the story. After Indra's plan failed, winter grew harsher. The snow began to fall heavily across the Himalayas. Nara remained absorbed in his own meditation, and Narayana sat completely exposed to the elements. Snow gathered on his shoulders, it settled upon his head, it covered his folded hands. The icy winds howled around him without mercy. Yet Narayana did not move. He remained perfectly still, like a mountain seated upon another mountain. Far away in Vaikuntha, goddess Lakshmi was watching this. As she saw her beloved Narayana sitting alone amidst the snow and storms, her heart filled with concern. How could she allow him to endure such suffering? So Lakshmi Devi descended to the Himalayas. And there, she performed an extraordinary act of love. Using her divine power, she transformed herself into a Badari tree, the simple jujube tree that we know today as the bear tree. She grew directly above Narayana. Her branches spread wide like a protective umbrella. Her trunk bore the weight of the falling snow. Her branches faced the freezing winds. Silently, patiently, she sheltered Narayana from the harsh Himalayan weather. Years passed, and still she stood there guarding him. Finally, after completing his long tapas, Narayana opened his eyes. Looking above him, he immediately understood what had happened. He saw Lakshmi Devi standing there as a Badari tree. He understood every snowfall she had endured for him, every storm she had faced, every cold wind she had blocked. A gentle smile appeared on his face. Then he said, "From this day onward, this place shall be known by your name. It shall be called Badri, and I shall be known as the god of Badri, Badrinath." And that's how this sacred land received its name. By the time this story ended, our story through the Himalayas had also continued. After passing through the mountain roads of Uttarakhand, we reached Joshimath, also known as Jyotirmath. Joshimath is one of the most important spiritual places connected with Badrinath Dham. It is deeply associated with Adi Shankaracharya, and it is also home of the famous Narasimha Temple. This Narasimha Temple has a very special connection with Badrinath. During winter, when Badrinath Temple is closed because of heavy snowfall, the worship connected with Bhagawan Narayana continues from this region. So Joshimath is not just a stop on this route, it is spiritually connected with Badrinath itself. After taking blessings at Joshimath, we continued toward Badrinath. From Joshimath, Badrinath is around 45 kilometers away. The road becomes more narrow, the mountain becomes more powerful. The entire region is also connected with the Pancha Pandavas. According to the Mahabharata, after renouncing their kingdom, the Pandavas passed through these Himalayan lands during their final journey known as Mahaprasthana. And finally, we reached Badrinath Dham. The first thing that welcomes every pilgrim is the sacred Alakananda river flowing beside the temple. The water is freezing, the flow is very strong, and just beside this river stands one of the holiest temples of Bharat, the temple of Bhagawan Badrivishal. As we cross the bridge over the Alakananda, the colorful entrance of Badrinath Temple slowly appears in front of us. The temple is not very huge like many South Indian temples, but the energy and location makes it unforgettable. Badrinath Temple remains open only for around 6 months every year. During the winter, heavy snowfalls covers this region, and the temple doors are closed in a traditional ceremony. That's why devotees wait every year for the opening of these temple doors. Inside the temple complex, there are many important shrines and divine presences. Here we can see the shrines connected with Mata Lakshmi, Adi Shankaracharya, Bhagawan Narasimha, Hanumanji, Nara and Narayana, and also Gandakarna, the Kshetrapala of Badrikashram. Now, Gandakarna is one of the most interesting and lesser known parts of Badrinath. A Kshetrapala means the guardian deity of a sacred Kshetra. In many ancient temples, the main deity is worshipped inside the main Garbhagriha, but the sacred space is also protected by guardian deities. The name Gandakarna comes from two words. Ganda means bell and Karna means ear. According to local tradition, Gandakarna was a fierce being who wore bells near his ears because he did not want to hear the name of Bhagawan Narayana. But later, by divine grace, he became connected with Bhagavan and became the guardian of this sacred Kshetra. This is a very interesting part of Badrinath because most pilgrims know about Badrinarayana, but many do not notice these guardian traditions inside the temple complex. And now we come to the spiritual heart of Badrinath, the Garbhagriha. Inside the sanctum, Bhagavan Badrinarayana is worshipped in a meditative posture. The sacred Vigraha is made of black Saligrama Shila. Bhagavan is seated in Padmasana or Yoga Mudra. He holds Shankha and Chakra while the other two hands resting in a yogic posture. This is one of the unique forms of Bhagavan Vishnu. Inside the Garbhagriha, Bhagavan Badrinarayana is not alone. The sacred presence of Narada Muni, Kubera, Uddhava, Nara and Narayana is also remembered here. But the story of this sacred Vigraha is even more powerful. There was a time when the Vigraha of Bhagavan Badrinarayana was not present in the temple. Later, Adi Shankaracharya came to Badrikashram and recovered the sacred Saligrama Vigraha from Narada Kund near the Alagananda. He re-established the worship of Bhagavan Badrinarayana, and Badrinath once again became one of the greatest pilgrimage centers of Sanatana Dharma. This is why Adi Shankaracharya is remembered so deeply in Badrinath. One important tradition connected with him is the Raval system. The chief priest of Badrinath Temple is called the Raval, and traditionally he comes from the Nambudiri Brahmin community of Kerala, the land connected with Adi Shankaracharya and Parasurama. Just think about this connection. A temple in the far Himalayas of Uttarakhand has a priestly connection connected with Kerala in the South India. This shows how the sacred geography of Bharata connected with north and south. After Darshanam, one of the most important places to visit is Tapt Kund, also called Tapta Kund. Before taking Darshanam of Bhagavan Badrinarayana, devotees traditionally take bath in this hot spring. The word Tapta means heated. This place is fascinating because Badrinath is a freezing Himalayan region, and during winter the whole area is covered in snow. But near the temple, this water remains naturally hot. Wow, it's really hot, guys. This kund is also connected with Agni Deva, the god of fire. Many local traditions say that Agni Deva resides in this sacred water, and that is why the water remains hot even in such cold Himalayan climate. Just beside this region is another very sacred place, Narada Kund. Narada Kund is connected with one of the most important stories of Badrinath Dham. The sacred Saligrama Shila of Bhagavan Badrinarayana was once hidden in Alakananda region. Later, Sri Adi Shankaracharya came to Badrikashram and recovered the Vigraha from Narada Kund. There is also a deeper Narada connection here. In the winter months, when human worship cannot continue inside the main temple because the region is covered with snow, Bhagavan Vishnu is worshipped by Devrishi Narada. Near this area, we also find Narada Shila, and around Tapta Kund, there are sacred stones known as Panchashila, including Garuda Shila, Nara Shila, Narasimha Shila, Varaha Shila, and Markandeya Shila. Another important place near the temple is Brahmakapal. It is located on the banks of the Alakananda and is one of the most important places for performing Sraddha and prayers for departed ancestors. Many devotees come here to offer Pindadan and pray for their parents, grandparents, and ancestors. Near the temple, there is also Adi Kedareshwar temple dedicated to Bhagavan Shiva. This reminds us of the deep connection between Hari and Hara in the Himalayas. Another famous tradition of Badrinath is the Akhanda Jyoti. Before the temple closes for the winter, a sacred ghee lamp is lit. The temple doors remain closed for nearly 6 months because of snow. When the temple reopens, devotees come with great faith to witness the Akhanda Jyoti. For devotees, this lamp represents the continuing presence of Bhagavan Badrinarayana even during the winter enclosure. After completing the temple visit, we are continuing towards Mana village. Mana is only a few kilometers from Badrinath. Earlier it was popularly called the last village of India. Today it is also known as the first village of India. Mana is not only a tourist village, it is filled with Mahabharata and Puranic connections. One of the most sacred places here is the Vyasa Gufa. Maharshi Vyasa composed the Mahabharata and compiled many Puranas from this region. A short distance away is the Ganesha Gufa. Bhagavan Ganesha wrote down the Mahabharata here as Maharshi Vyasa dictated it. From there we visited the Saraswati river. Near Mana, the divine Saraswati river appears in a powerful visible form flowing through the rocks with a great force. In many parts of India, Saraswati river is remembered as a hidden river. Nearby is the famous Bhim Pool. During the final journey of the Pandavas, Bhima placed this massive stone across the Saraswati river so that Draupadi could cross. Beyond Mana is the route connected with Mahaprasthana, the final journey of Pandavas towards Himalayas. If you have enough time and fitness, you can go and trek towards Vasudhara Falls. Vasudhara is associated with the belief that its waters touch only those whose hearts are pure.
इससे ऊपर आपका इंडियन आर्मी 48 किलोमीटर्स 60 kilometers Tibet and China. Yeah.
After visiting Badrinath Temple, Taptakund, Naradakund, Brahmakapal, Gandakarna, Mana Village, Vyasa Gufa, Ganesha Gufa, Sacred Saraswati River, Bhim Pool and Vasudhara, one thing becomes clear. Badrinath is not just a temple, it's an entire sacred landscape. Here Bhagavan Vishnu is worshipped as a great tapasya. Mata Lakshmi is remembered through the Badari Tree tradition. Adi Shankaracharya is remembered for reviving the worship. Gandakarna stands as a guardian of the Kshetra. Narada Muni, Maharshi Vyasa, Ganesha Bhagwan, Pandavas, the sacred Alagananda and Saraswati rivers are connected to this one divine region. And now let me give you a practical guide for planning your own Badrinath Yatra. The nearest major starting points are Haridwar, Rishikesh and Dehradun. Most pilgrims travel by road through Rishikesh, Devaprayag, Rudraprayag, Karnaprayag, Joshimath and then Badrinath. The road journey from Haridwar usually takes around 10 to 12 hours, but during Char Dham season, landslide, traffic and weather can delay the journey. So always keep extra time. For stay, you can choose Joshimath, Pandukeshwar or Badrinath depending on your plan and budget. If you want to take early morning darshanam, staying near Badrinath is better. But during peak season, rooms can be very expensive, so book early. For Char Dham Yatra, registration is required through the official Uttarakhand Tourism or Char Dham Yatra registration website. You can complete the registration online before your journey. Carry your ID proof, registration details, warm clothes, basic medicines and keep checking weather and road updates. Also remember, Badrinath is a high altitude Himalayan region, so do not rush, walk slowly, drink enough water and take care of elders and children. And if you are visiting Mana, Vyasa Gufa, Bhim Pool or Vasudhara, start early and return before it gets dark. So if you ever get a chance to visit Badrinath Dham, do not go for only photos. Take the darshanam with bhakti and patience. Visit the nearby temples and kunds, remember the stories and experience this sacred land, not just a tourist but a Tirthayatri. Jai Badri Vishal.